Okay, we're going to walk today through a case study of some results that we saw with a high-end fitness client targeting iOS ads. And before we get into that and kind of get into the results, I want to walk through the actual problem. So the problem is you can't target users on iOS. Apple's effectively killed the cookie, they've effectively killed in-app tracking, and it's basically made it very difficult for advertisers to have any kind of good results on iOS. And there's some sort of bargaining that first-party data is going to solve this problem, but like ultimately there's just not that much first-party data out there. And so effectively user targeting in iOS is dead. Now, our technology solves this not by targeting users. We don't use IP address. We don't use cookies. What we do is we target intent. So what we do is we basically have to look at all of the impressions out there on the web and understand in real time what an individual user is looking at. Now, we don't care who the user is at. We just want to know on an ad impression what that content is. Our AI basically understands what that content is, and it is able to sort of understand what the likelihood of conversion is based on that content. And so if someone is, say, on a forum about having trouble sleeping because they've got an old dog that makes a lot of noise, we can know to send an ad that is for sleep buds that help block out sounds. Like, we can recognize that level of content and it performs extremely well. So the key is we can get user level targeting and performance just by targeting the actual content that they're on without using any individual user data. So this is especially important because ultimately you get the situation where, because Android and Chrome are the only browsers that like cookies can target, all of the advertisers are sitting there scrambling and targeting just that set of users. And so what it does is it drives up the price of ads on those users. But at the end of the day, iOS users are worth significantly more. And so you're in this weird situation where iOS users cost less to buy, but the users are worth more. And if you could just target them in some way, then you have really, really good returns. And this is exactly what we see. This is particularly the case if you have a high percentage of iOS users and a lot of like higher end retailers and things like that. That's what they do. And so this is exactly what we saw. So we worked with a high-end gym, and we said, hey, let's just target these intent signals only. So we found things like, we could understand when people were reading about like gym experiences, personal trainers, things like that, like and target that content in real time, not like after the fact, but just instantaneously. We're able to target that and target those exactly to the users that need to see that content. Again, we don't know anything about the users. And what we saw was like a 469% increase in the amount of search volume. So by showing these display ads, we were able to push all sorts of new knowledge about these, their gym. Users had no idea. And overall, we were seeing like a 60-70% increase in the total number of leads that they saw. So it was a huge lift from this campaign just because we were able to target these users that were, very, very cost effective because they cost less, but they're worth more. So if you want to talk to us, just click the link below and we'd be happy to chat with you about how we can do this for you and your brand.